an era marked by geopolitical tensions, the ominous possibility of a Third World War, which has been a topic for decades, can no longer be dismissed as pure fiction. While another world war is something that nobody wants, a pressing question is this: which countries would find themselves least safe if the unthinkable were to occur? In this video, we will delve into a comprehensive analysis of the geopolitical, military, and economic factors that could influence a country's safety in the event of a global conflict, shedding light on the regions where the grip of uncertainty may be most profound. But before we dive into today's video, take a moment to click that like button and subscribe to our channel. Be sure to also hit that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any of our upcoming videos. The various global military conflicts that have occurred since the start of the 21st century, including the Russian invasion of Ukraine in 2022 and Israel's declaration of war on the Gaza Strip in October 2023, after a coordinated attack by the Palestinian militant group Hamas, have raised concerns about the potential for a third world war. Since these conflicts could see the countries of the world divide in support of their allies and turn against one another, many fear that we could soon see the birth of another world war. In the event of a third world war, however, several countries would face significant challenges. Israel, for example, could face some serious challenges as it relies on importing countries for its food, fuel, and industries, and has even had conflicts with their neighbors over water, as it is a hotly contested resource. At the best of times, Israel has been a nation on the brink of destruction, and if a third world war were ever to start, its main ally, the United States, would have bigger problems than helping Israel. Israel also depends on foreign aid, which will likely cease if its allies come under attack. To top it all, the country is surrounded by countries that don't like them, like Egypt, Jordan, Syria, and Palestine. This makes Israel a tough place to be if a third world war breaks out. China is another country that could face significant damage if a third world war were to break out. With its crucial role in global shipping routes, the country is at risk of amphibious assaults, airstrikes, and even nuclear strikes on its coastal trade areas. The country's reliance on a massive national draft for its military would also impose a heavy toll on its population in the event of a global conflict. Moreover, the country has its own problems even without a big global war. China has a big water pollution and scarcity issue. Fixing this needs help from the government. And if there's a big war, this pollution problem could get worse as the government might become weak or even cease to exist. Russia is another country that would be best to avoid if another world war were to start. Back in the Cold War days, many thought that if there was a World War III, the Soviet Union would be involved. Now it's modern Russia, and the reality is the same. Apart from Russia's invasion of Ukraine, which could see them go to war with the United States and NATO, the country has something called the dead man's switch, which makes it a really risky place if there's a third world war. This system is connected to all of Russia's nuclear missiles. It keeps an eye on what's happening in Russia, and if it senses a nuclear attack, it launches all the Russian long-range missiles automatically. The system is designed to operate in the event that all of the country's leadership is wiped out in a nuclear attack. However, if the Russian leaders do survive a nuclear hit, the automatic launch order from this switch cannot be reversed. If the dead man switch ever goes off, it means the country would be in a nuclear war. The United States is another country that would be a major target in a third world war. The country's enemies might try a surprise nuclear attack to protect their own lands from destruction. If this happens, it could make most of the U.S. unlivable. Even people in the Midwest, who usually feel safe, wouldn't be, because there are many missile silos there which would be top targets. The idea is to destroy the U.S. nuclear weapons before they can be used. After a nuclear or regular war, the U.S. might split into smaller areas, and different groups within the U.S. might fight for power. Take Southern California, for example. It has over 20 million people, but not enough local food and water. Plus, it's near Mexico's dangerous drug cartels in the south. If things go bad during a big war, these cartels could cause problems in the southwestern United States. The United Kingdom's alliance with the United States and NATO means they'll also likely be involved if there is a third world war. But the United Kingdom is in a tough spot, as the British Isles have more people than their land can naturally support. Additionally, the UK relies on food imports, which means if they are cut off from their food shipments as a result of a war, the United Kingdom would face instant starvation. Germany is another country that you may not want to find yourself in the event of a Third World War. The country's NATO commitments put it in a precarious position, as it would be on the front lines of any conflict involving NATO members. Furthermore, during the Cold War, the battle plans of both the Soviets and Western countries put Germany as a frontline location in case of a future war. Even now, in the 21st century, it's likely that a war between Western powers and Russia and its allies would be decided on German soil. South Korea could also face significant challenges in a Third World War, as the United States might pull back its soldiers from the Korean Peninsula or not give them enough support. This could let North Korea try to invade South Korea while the US is busy. Without the United States, the South Korean army would be greatly outnumbered by the North. A war between them would create a huge humanitarian crisis. Liberia could also find itself facing serious challenges in a Third World War. Back in 2010, the country was ranked as the most dependent country on foreign aid in the whole world. Without that aid, Liberia cannot survive it, and to make matters worse, the United States is Liberia's largest financial backer. If a Third World War happens, the United States will be involved and will most likely have bigger issues to handle than helping Liberia. This means that the country's lifeline of financial support could suddenly stop, putting Liberia in a tough spot. The Solomon Islands is another country that is heavily reliant on foreign aid. A world war would put the Solomon Islands' lifeline of foreign aid under threat, leaving its population to suffer. Additionally, the Solomon Islands are in a tricky spot. Back in the Second World War, they were a key place for an air base that could threaten Australia and New Zealand. If a Third World War starts, it's possible the Solomon Islands would be fought over again and maybe used as a base to threaten Australia. This means it's a place that could be right at the front lines in any future world conflict. If a Third World War were to happen, Saudi Arabia might not be left out, as their massive oil reserves could see them on the receiving end of an invasion by a powerful country trying to control the kingdom's oil reserves due to oil scarcity. Since Saudi Arabia's military isn't huge, and they rely on alliances to stay safe, this leaves them in a vulnerable position. The Saudi monarchy is also not the most stable, and it might fall during a big conflict. However, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has even more problems in the form of its dependence on imports for food, water, consumer products, and industrial goods. If there's a war, these resources could run low, leading to unrest, hunger, and death. North Korea is another country to watch out for, as its proximity to major regional powers, including South Korea, China, Russia, and Japan, make it a likely battleground in a global conflict. The country's provocative actions and nuclear ambitions have also created tensions with the international community, making it a potential target for retaliation or preemptive strikes if a global conflict were to occur. While we hope that a Third World War never happens, it is important to be aware of the potential risks and dangers. In the event of such a catastrophic event, some countries would be less safe than others. Understanding the potential consequences of a world war can help us appreciate the importance of peace and diplomacy in today's interconnected world. Which other countries do you think wouldn't be safe if a Third World War were to break out? Let us know in the comments section below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel if you are yet to do so. Be sure to also hit that notification bell because we have more amazing stories on the way. We'll see you in the next video.
This stage.